Hello, my name is Charles. I want to welcome you to my channel. This is going to be about, is she available? Should I take her home? My name is Charles. I want to thank you for watching. This video is going to be about Filipino women and women in general, really. First, you should know a little bit about me. I'm a certified recovery coach, um, life coach, and I help people recover from drug and alcohol addiction, and I coach people how to rebuild their lives. This has given me a lot of experience in what we're seeing and what I have learned since I've been in the Philippines. Click subscribe if you haven't done so, because this is going to be real informative. You may want to save it for later. What we're seeing is a disturbing pattern amongst expats here in the Philippines. I'm going to give you two personal stories, mine, okay? And third, I'm going to close with a conclusion of what this is really about. I came to the Philippines just over a couple of years ago. I had met a LDR on Facebook during COVID. We struck up a conversation, and I decided to come over here and visit her. She seemed like a promising spousal candidate. I was going through the vetting process on Facebook, but I still had not met her. So in August of 2021, I came over here for a couple of weeks to meet her, and we struck it off just fine. Everything was beautiful. I even went up to meet her family in the province because during that time there was some sort of big festival going on for the whole country. And I actually talked to her parents and her family about marrying her. This has really happened. I went up there and we had this long discussion, and she had accepted my proposal to get married, and her parents and I sat down and had a conversation, and her father made this one request. He said he wanted she and I to live here together for 1 year because there was some disturbing trends they were seeing with expats and Filipino women. As a matter of fact, he had mentioned that some expats were actually killing the Filipino women. Since I've been here, I have noticed one or two of those in the news. However, I didn't think nothing of it, but I gave him my word, and she did too, that we would live here in the Philippines for the first year. Now realize I didn't put my money up for her visa. I'm planning on to for her to stay here, me to go back to the States and work to get her back to the States and do a long distance relationship. Her father made this request and I gave him my word and she did too. So I moved back here December 2nd, 2022. During that first month, everything was fine. Everything was fine. During December, we have all these celebrations. We were traveling. We were going to Bataan Island. We were going to celebrations, weddings, and everything worked out fine. Then, once we got to settle into the townhouse, something went wrong. The very first month, she wanted to leave. It was right around her monthly cycle, and so I thought maybe that was it. And I talked her down out of it. In the meantime, though, I had drank some coconut water out of a coconut, and it made me sick, and I was sick for 2 weeks. But anyway, after that, Every month she would have get upset. Every month. Realize this started in like January, then it went February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and October. Because I went through this for 10 months. Every month, it was some sort of emotional disturbance. As I've continued, what I noticed that she was having some sort of emotional problems because of my training and background. I started to ask questions in my network and said, what is really going on here? It prompted me to ask her some questions. Her father was an alcoholic. See, this is the other part of what we're seeing here in the Philippines, that not only is alcoholism and drugs a problem here, however, the families are sick too because they've been damaged by the alcoholism and being raised by alcoholic parents. These are the things that my education and training has taught me to get people through. It's not only going to be the alcoholic, it's going to be the family's going to be sick too. And so she had some emotional issues that was carrying over into her adulthood that had caused these emotional disturbances. And come to find out, she really didn't want to be here. But I done made, and she has made a agreement, gave our word to her father, and she did not want to keep it. It just got worse and worse. What brought it to a breaking point was at the end, her sister's boyfriend got arrested for drugs. This is when I first found out about it. If I'd have known drugs was involved in this, I wouldn't have done this. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I've been dealing with drug problems in my family since I was 13 years old. I came here in my 60s. My brother died from drugs December 2022. He was a drug addict. And so I can empathize with people like Tim K. And when they come out and say they're struggling with alcoholism, I understand that struggle very well because I've been through it. I'm coming up on 10 years and I've been trained to help other people recover their lives once they want to get their life straight. But we have to look for these behavioral issues because not only will the person coming off of drugs display this stuff, the families are affected. They are harmed, they are carrying resentments and all kind of stuff. But anyway, so in October, I asked her to leave. She had started getting highly emotional, slamming on doors, slamming on walls. And what really brought it to a breaking point was her sister had asked her to go down there and visit her boyfriend while he was in jail because they had busted him with some drugs. They even had the nerve to ask to borrow 10,000 pesos from me to get him out of jail. I said, no. And I told them right then, uh, wow, earthquake, that you have crossed the line. Under no circumstances do you ask me or bring drugs into my life. I do not allow that. I have had it 50 years of dealing with it on both sides of the street, and I'm not dealing not 1 minute with anybody because I know it ends up poorly. It does not come out well, being an enabler, and then the damage that we go through, going through it and having to get over it, it's a lot. That's story number one. The one that really opened my eyes was this second one. There was a woman here. She came from Australia with her mother, and I befriended her and I asked her if she was going to go into business and maybe we could be business partners because I needed a business partner so I can continue my digital marketing and work here from the Philippines. Right now, I can't. So I just do YouTube and work through the States. However, as a part of my education and background, I do personal brand strategy for people wanting to be solopreneurs. So I offered to take her through the assessment. I give two assessments. These things were eye opening. These things were just like, look, I'm not real wise about the way women are, but I do have a lot of exposure over the length of my lifetime. What those assessments revealed, I'm gonna tell you what it revealed. One of her personality traits was adventurer, another one was caregiver, and the third one, the detrimental one, is called innocent. When these things combine, the adventurer means she's going to go off on her feelings. She's going to go off, just, I call them space cadets. I really do. They're space cadets. They'll be going one way and all of a sudden their feelings will kick in and they'll go off on some kind of adventure. An innocent does not plan. She's innocent. She's not thinking through the consequences of the decision she's about to make. As a matter of fact, she had tore down her life in Australia. She had been in a relationship with a man for 20 years and walked away from it and moved to Australia because she was emotionally bullied as a child. And we see this all the time on YouTube, on TikTok, where women have made these emotional decisions and destroyed their life, and then they be on social media crying, "Oh, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have got divorced," or they didn't went after some guy that then excited them, or they thought that their life was going to be better, and they found out it was a horrible mistake. The thing about that is that there are other people involved. The men are involved. And we don't understand why these women do this. I have come to the conclusion that every woman has something in there that will make them self destruct. They don't even know it. They don't know when it's coming, what it is, or how to deal with it. And so they self destruct. What has happened is, and so what I want to explain to you is that the second one, she could not be a business owner because upon looking at the rest of her assessment, she could not have deeply emotional conversations. She couldn't handle it. She'll walk away. It's a form of passive aggressiveness. Okay? That was number two. Now, what is really happening here? Number one, these women are not emotionally available. They're not. They have been traumatized. They are broken early in their life and they have these emotional traumas. It could either be from the first guy that she had sex with, where she gave up her virginity. She may have had a child, or she may have even been raped. And so that has caused an emotional break in their personality, and they are emotionally unavailable. The second one is that these traumas, when something triggers them at some point in their life, they'll walk away from the relationship. They'll just walk away because emotionally, they've been doing this for so long, they think it's normal. And it's not. It's not. It's because they're broken inside and they're unable to make a commitment. Like, for instance, the first one, she agreed and said, we're going to make a year. She couldn't do it, but it didn't matter to her. It didn't matter to her that she and I had made a promise to her father. She broke the promise. So they don't have any integrity that they can give you. You can't even trust them on their word. They're going to tell you what you want to hear until their feelings say, I don't like this, I'm gone. But in the meantime, you have invested in this relationship and it self destructs through no fault of your own. But here's the other part of this equation. As expats, we come in here and we have a higher lifestyle that they have to get used to. Imagine the trauma that you went into coming here, but then when we bring them into our life here, they're traumatized too. And they'll start to feel insecure. They won't feel like they're worthy. And those kind of feelings will weigh so heavily on them in the relationship. Now, why do the men do this? We have a saying, it's a Captain Saberhole. It's just a phrase, but as men, we want to come in and play the hero in these women's lives thinking that they're going to love us. That's not what happens. That is not what happens. We're acting on a part of us that we don't love ourselves. Our self worth and our self esteem is so low coming from America and them other relationships. We're still acting out on these patterns that we have a saying, we'll have a different person with the same face. We'll pick those kind of people over and over and over again, unless you done sat down with someone that can look at where you're traumatized from your childhood and why you're carrying that stuff forward, you'll keep acting it out. I'm talking about something I've done. I've always like, why did I pick the woman the one time I've been married? Why did I pick her? But it comes from a trauma in my childhood because my mother passed when I was 4 years old. So I do not have a healthy pattern of what a healthy relationship with a female is because a male child, that's where we get that from. Without it, we're searching in the dark. I've had to go through therapy for that. Hopefully, this has helped. Click like and click share. Also, I want to offer you, I do offer counseling for people going through these life coaching situations. You can schedule a coaching session for me. The first one is free. After that, we can work something out. My name is Charles. Click like. Thank you.